Hi everyone, hello and welcome back on Bonfire Night. How are you all today? Hope you're having a wonderful time. So we've had Halloween and now we've got Guy Fawkes. So wishing you all a beautiful day. So thank you so much for joining us tonight as we go into our last card for this little time, because I've done Ace to 10 in the suit. So tonight we're doing the 10 of wands, and then next time we'll be going on to the pentacles, and we'll go from Ace to 10 on them, and then we'll deal with the court cards afterwards. So with no further ado, we better bring this in. Do say hello, and lovely to see you all. So let's just show you how to join me if you want. Hi, hello, passionate Saji. How are you? So, I better post the link, hadn't I? Oh my goodness me! Right, passionate Saji. Good day to you. Welcome to come on if you want to, my lovely. Do feel free to join us. So, what have we got? Let's start tonight with the Chariot. And you might go, well, she got the moon underneath that card. Well, the moon is associated with the astrological sign of Cancer. And the Chariot, of course, is the Major Arcana card for Cancer. Now, yes, we are dealing with studying the Ten of Wands, but on Tuesdays, what it's all about is being able to combine the Ten of Wands, or whatever card we're studying, in this case, Ten of Wands, and how we can actually combine cards so that we can start to put a reading together. Now, I work with pairs because if we just had one card, we can get very lost, and this is a really easy system to be able to, number one, the right hand card, i.e. the suit, the minor arcana, will tell you the background effects of what's going on. And the major arcana card are the important things that happen in our life. So the moon is associated, as I said, with the Chariot because as a planet, that's why it's in sort of goldy yellow there. As a planet, it's important that we know the influences that come about from that. So I'm going to get rid of the moon, and you know that. And we know that this is a card of Cancer. All right. So now if we say, right, okay, what does the Chariot mean? Okay, quite simply, it's a million things, we know that. But quite simply, because it's the fourth house in astrology, it relates to domestic matters and our home. So 10 of Wands, well, the end is in sight. So how could we fuse the 10 of Wands? I've got several meanings there for you, so this is just one of them. But the 10 of Wands is very much a card of action. We're in the suit of Wands, which is all about action. And I better put that on the screen for you. So let's get rid of that. And it's a card of action. And we also know it's because we are in the suit that is the element of fire. And so that associates with the astrological signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Now, you might go, well, what's that got to do with anything? Well, if you know that, you can work out what the Ten of Wands or any of the Wands cards is telling you is happening. And it's action. So this isn't something that they feel. This isn't something that they're thinking. This isn't something that they already have. This is something that they are acting on. And at this point in time, as we can see, something to do with home life is associated here with the Ten of Wands. So 10 of Wands. Right, let me just bring in those key meanings. So we put maybe matters at home, the end is in sight. So things may have been difficult. You know, you may have been trying to get your home into maybe a beautiful way of how you want it to aesthetically look. Maybe you've been trying to be independent, i.e. you might be renting and you want to rent somewhere else, or you want to actually have the freedom to be able to be your own boss, in which case you've looked at the opportunities and you've looked at what the possibilities are. Or something at home is there's been some difficulties, and that could be the people that's within the home. And so that depends on your circumstances. Now, generally it means you're set up at home now. It can mean our parents, does relate back to that, but it's probably to do with our domestic life as it stands. So if you live with your cat and your dog and your fellow, that's what it's talking about. If it's your family or extended family living with you, it's talking about that. So the end is in sight. Hard work, the actions, the slogging, you're getting there. So sometimes it might be something to do with I want to move. The end is in sight. You will find the home that you're looking for. You're nearly there. Okay. Another meaning for that can be, okay, you've worked really hard and success is almost yours with the Ten of Wands. This is all to do with home, domestic matters, and the people that are in it, the aesthetics, the neighbours, everything that goes on with our home life. You know, who's in it, what it looks like, how you actually pay for it, have you paid for it? Are you a homeowner? Have you got a mortgage? Are you renting? Are you looking to move? Whatever your question is, it's something to do with that. And also, do bear in mind I mentioned that this is to do with Cancerians. So pay particular attention if you or someone that lives in that dwelling is a Cancerian, because it's telling you that person, yeah, they are really at the final mile and they are ready to receive that success due to all that hard work. Another word for our person, either our Cancerian or our dwelling or our domestic arrangements, is are physically exhausted. So the people in that, or one person in particular, perhaps Cancerian. And sometimes, you know, I talk about this a lot, we've got to look at the fact that we can look at that person's sun, and that means, you know, I'm a Cancerian, but my moon is not Cancer, neither is my rising sign. There's very few bits of Cancer in my chart, if any, that I would actually say applies to Cancer. I've got a lot of different things like you will have. I think my sister, bless her, she's Cancer. So that means, you know, she really behaves in that way. Everything's about her domestic life, the people that she cares about, the people she wants to protect. It comes out in every sort of area. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go onto our website. We've got a free natal chart on there. I am going to say that when we updated the website, they changed everything, because with us updating, different things became available, and the old one was no longer available. Now, I have my own professional software, so I look very deeply into something called Astro Gold, but there's something on there for free. Yes, if you want to go further on that, it does charge you. The other one didn't, okay? It did if you wanted something in particular, but this might take you somewhere. It's nothing to do with me. We can't get rid of it. Just get the basics and don't feel you've got to pay for anything. Just get what's free and then leave. That's what I would suggest. That's the best we can do. We've looked really hard for that. It's not an easy task to find something. I've looked for years and finally we got one, and we changed website and it changed, but we've still got something for you. It will help you understand different aspects of your life. Why? Because the tarot cards are linked to planets. Same as I've said, the Chariot's linked to, astrologically, Cancer. It's also Cancerians ruled by the moon. The Chariot, of course, is not just about our home. There's other things that go with the Chariot. Look at the picture. You know, you can see this is somebody that's very determined, very willful, to the point of exhaustion. But it's all about the home and the people in it. So he's probably working really hard for the home and the people in it. Maybe it's to do with, how they want it to aesthetically look, the garden, the extension, getting a mortgage or meeting the rent or putting in pretties, whatever it is. It's something that's actually, they're at that final part in their journey and they've acted and worked it out. So another word for this could be they've taken on too much, or the responsibility of the domestic arrangements. You see? A home. We're feeding the energy of the Ten of Wands into the Chariot. So if you think of just one word for your Major Arcana, maybe pick a variety or not, just one word for each while you get it. And just go, right, okay, if this came up for you and you were saying, what do I need to know today? And it's like, okay, with home, you've taken on too much. Your actions are that you're exhausted. And we can see that. And you might not be seeing everything clearly because your head is buried in the wands. All right. Why? Maybe because the person that we can see our figure there is unable to say no. How many of us are guilty of that one? Sorry, I'm going to try and charge my headset. Bear with me a second. It's been on charge all day, but every week I seem to get a little problem with my AirPods, and they are new. I don't really want to be attached to what I've got is a wired headset because then I can't move about the way I want to. Right, so maybe our person is unable to say no when it comes to their children, their parents, their partner, their siblings, whoever lives in that dwelling, whoever's part of their home. And sometimes people say, oh, you know what? Even my dad says to me now, and I left when I was just before I was 18. I was 17, a couple of weeks before I was 18. And my dad actually always says, this is your home. You're always welcome. And I am not that age anymore. So, yeah, it's considered. My dad talks about his home. He left when he was 17. And my dad's 87. But he still talks about home as in back in Ireland. It's what some people don't. What I'm trying to say is, what does it mean to that person? So you might say, oh, this is your family. And somebody said, I don't do anything for my family. I don't speak to them, or certain members of them. In which case you've got to say, okay, so, who would you consider family? They might say my cat. And it's like, right, there you go. It's you and your dwelling and your cat. Whatever it is, that's what you've got to look at. And don't be... If they're splitting hairs with you, they're probably not. You might take it in the wrong way, but in actual fact, they're probably just trying to clarify. Sometimes that's what it's about, that clarity. Okay, so bear with me for 1 second. Right. Next, what have we got? Okay, unable to say no is the last one. What about this one? Obligations to duty. Obligations to duty in a big way. Obligations, feel obligated to actually take on the home. Duty, a sense of purpose and duty is pushing them or driving them to such a point that they feel that they're obliged to be the one that's the homemaker or the provider or whatever it is. There's a lot that it can be. And you can talk about it, but maybe read the card for yourself and ask yourself, if you're struggling with reading, ask yourself the question and go, what do I need to know today? Or have you got a question? I'm a Cancer, and if I looked at this, I'd be going, okay, yeah, that really applies to me. I've got a duty, I'm obliged to do it. And yeah, maybe I've bitten off more than I can chew, but I'm nearly there. So it really would apply to me. How would it apply to the home? There's a lot going on in our home, as in where, yes, there's a lot to do. And without going into any great details, yes, I have got to pay attention to our home in a very big way because, what's next for us? considering moving. It's as simple as that. So I've been here a long time and there's a lot to sort out. Not because just the move, it's people in it. I've got animals and it's not so easy to just kind of walk out with a suitcase when it's just you, when you've got 11 big dogs and small. Okay. This is a familiar one. Okay. At home, maybe you're doing it all yourself. Maybe everything you're doing. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Do you know what? My AirPods are not. I'm just trying to see what charge is on because it's impossible to tell. AirPods Pro. Okay, I just didn't. Ah, I seem to be connected now. So, I've got your message. You're definitely guilty of this. I think a lot of us are. Doing it all yourself. Well, now, look and go, right, two very big things. If you're feeling this is meaning something to you, you know, and I don't know which one, I'm so sorry, Passionate Sergio, if you're there, please feel free. And if you want to jump on, feel free to do so. I know that you talked about coming on, but I also know that you've got things going on in your domestic life, and it's not that easy with, you know, family. I know you have the grandchildren. Again, doing it all yourself, taking on that load. So think of it like that and think of it as in, well, if you just had the Chariot, you might have said, oh, this is something to do with you're really willful or your willpower's really, really strong and going in the right direction. In actual fact, this has all been about, it was about saying no. Ah, yes, about saying no. Well, remember that. Think of your 10 of Wands. You see, when you suddenly go, gosh, and you know when you said it was about saying no, look at the card that we're on. Would you say that it's about, when you think about it, let me go back to that, unable to say no. Okay, so you're unable to say no. Now, as a Sagittarius, they're normally somebody that can. So do you know where your moon is, Passionate Sagittarius? Because that, and your rising sign, because that will help you understand where that's coming from. Might be where you're most comfortable. And you might go, no, I don't mean to. What makes you do it? I used to do it, but I think that the rewards weren't great enough. I'm just being honest. The rewards weren't great enough. It's like, they all seem to be having a jolly old time, and I actually feel Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, where? Your moon? Interesting. So, you know, something, maybe your rising sign, is something that's making you Taurus rising. Oh my word, that's why. That's why. Yeah, you like things to be stable, you like things to be comfortable. If you're Capricorn moon, I confess I don't know too much about that one apart from the fact that you're probably driven by climbing that mountain because it needs climbing. So there's that drive that makes you comfortable. You believe in a cause, you believe that, you know, it's not so much about you, it's not so much about your family. Capricorn tend to actually look at something, when I say that is your moon, and your moon is where you're comfortable, and your moon is also where you'll probably be triggered, you know, and what that means, you know, where I'm comfortable, I'm also uncomfortable if I'm not getting, I'm worried that I won't get what makes me comfortable. I hope that makes sense. So hopes, wishes, fears sort of thing. So if you look at the fact that Capricorn is a little bit like that mountain goat, and this is your moon, and this is where comfortable, you're probably going, I want to climb that mountain. And my belief is, you know, I usually it's It's something that is meaningful outside of ourselves and the family. It's usually something that's related to a cause. Oh, anytime you want to, wish you better. It's that time of year, the damp. Yeah, the damp. Only just to sort of talk about powers, whatever. But this is a good one. Think of yourself, as in, I think we're all guilty of doing too much, which is where we're unable to say no. But the point here is you're unable to say no, but where are you unable to say no? So what this is saying, and ask me any questions, anybody, if you don't get those, where you're most affected and unable to say no is when it comes to those that you love and cherish in your home. And if they've left home, that doesn't matter. If you brought them up and you feel that they're your family, yeah, you're unable to say no. We were talking about the Capricorn side of the moon. It's usually a cause. It's like, what? I really believe in a method of teaching, as in maybe for my children, and it's this method, and I'm going hell for leather into that, and I'm going to go and climb that mountain and find out everything I can because it needs doing. And I'm doing this for myself and on behalf of everyone that will value and appreciate the fact that I can see that this is a good thing. That's kind of a Capricorn climbing a mountain. They're not climbing a mountain to get a Rolls Royce or a jet or money. They're not climbing a mountain to be a hero. That doesn't interest them. They're doing it for a cause, for something that they actually feel is worthwhile. So whatever that is, it might be it's worthwhile to save the penguins or look after the birds or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Think of anything you want. Sometimes it's their career. Sometimes it's to do with getting things changed, politics, whatever. But it's one of those things. And it is about where they are trying to, because of course Capricorn is ruled by planet Saturn, which we'll have a look at in a bit, and that's our restrictions and limitations and the brick walls that we hit in life, and where we go, somebody needs to do something about this. That's a Capricorn. And if it's your moon, that's where you'll be comfortable. So you've got Taurus rising, you've told us Taurus rising, you've told us there is Capricorn moon, so that's two earthy bits. Taurus, of course, is steady, slow, likes to be comfortable, likes their home. They usually enjoy a good meal. They like things to be nice and simple. Comforts are very gentle and very genuine. And it takes a lot to convince them otherwise. But what I'm actually saying here is the major card is telling us in which area. So let's just look at everything that the Ten of Wands has been telling us, okay? Unable to say no, we went back to that, all right. Doing it all ourselves. Another one is assuming responsibility. So in action, okay, let's remind you of that. Why is it action? Because we're in the element of fire, okay? Why are we doing it all ourselves? In all areas, no, when it comes to matters of the home. That's why you've got that major card there. So you're not doing it all yourself at work, because the major card isn't talking about work. If you're planning a trip, by the way, on the road, the Chariot is also linked to that. Yes? So doing it all, you might do all of this when it comes to, I don't do this for anyone other than my family, my home life. That's it. Oh, you're not like that at work? Absolutely I'm not. Why should I? You know, the Major Arcana card is saying where this is happening. So in this case, everything that is, bear with me, sorry, the actions of assuming responsibility, it's connected with the home. So you're not marching into work and doing that. At home, you're doing everything yourself. Why? 10 of Wands is telling us you feel obligated to, you feel duty to do so. Why? When it comes to home matters, you're unable to say no to the people that are closest to you, those that you're trying to protect, those that you love and care about. At home, you take on too much in every area. So anything that's affecting the home. So you might overdo it in actions for others. You might overwork for and on behalf of others. You might overwork when it comes to your material security, when it comes to your dwelling, your home life. That's the dwelling itself and the people that you care about. You don't care about anyone else in this case with this pair. And the home, yeah, to the point of exhaustion. But the reason that you're driven that way is because you feel it, if you just do it for a short period of time, success is yours. And the end is in sight. And so if you're doing it for a reason, then the reason is the left card, the home. So I hope that helps. Right. Let's bring in some keywords for the 10 of Wands. All right. Back in a minute. Okay, so our next one on the screen that I've put on here for you tonight, because I don't feel I've tried to think about the cards that we haven't really looked at in when we're doing our combinations. So do say hi if you're watching. Thanks so much for coming on. Tarot Combinations. I know it's firework night, bonfire night. I hope you're all keeping warm. Believe it or not, it's quite warm where I am today, which is beautiful. It's normally absolutely freezing. Take care of yourself, be safe. Justice card linked to the astrological sign of Libra, which is air. But we have our Major Arcana card, which is Libra and Justice, and we know that it means more than just Libra. So if there's any Librans around you, straight away you'll be looking at going, okay, either, it depends where it is, but let's say it's you, the Libra is exhausted. All right, if you're the Libran, you're exhausted. And bear with me for 1 second. Let's get this right. Okay. All right, so keyword for justice, I'll say it's partnerships. So let's look at its Libra and let's look at its partnerships. All right. And let's say that when it comes to either you're the Libra, I'm going to keep it simple. They could be the Libra, so it could be a Libra that makes you exhausted, all right? But let's say it's you. Libra is exhausted. So if you're a Libra, this comes out, and you see this, you go, gosh, that's me, I'm exhausted. Or you could be looking at the fact that, here we go, sorry, I've got so much on there. All right, then as a Libra, you've taken on too much, but also the key word is partnerships. So the area of your life that the 10 of Wands is applying to is to do with partnerships. And there are no cups there, and there are no romantic cards. So if somebody says, can you look at my relationship for me? You'd be looking at partnerships. So you'd be looking for the Justice card immediately. And then you'd look at the card next to it and go, this relationship looks like, you're both pulling really hard. And maybe there's a lot going on for you now. And you might say, well, what does it mean? If they're asking, what does that person think about me? Perhaps that person isn't really thinking about anything apart from just getting to the point where they can make it to the end. The end's in sight. Yeah? That person is probably exhausted. And they are not thinking about anything because they're trying to be successful. Maybe for the partnership. A lot of people turn around and go off and do a lot of things in order to be able to get a partnership off the ground. You can't live on nothing, And that person, the end is in sight for them. So they're not going to be paying attention to dating you or ringing you every now and again. There's too much going on. Oh, but I. You see, we get this. And it's like, this is not the right time. There is a lot on their plate. They are not seeing the woods for the trees. Oh, well, people say, they think about me. That's a real sense of entitlement, isn't it? If people have got to do their stuff, they can't be all lovey-dovey and all the rest of it. We don't know whether this is something that's going to go on for quite some time with that person. Could easily be the case. Could easily be the case that this person is constantly overworked or busy, but not usually, because 10 of Wands is the end is in sight. And yeah, they're probably exhausted. So the last thing they want is somebody going, well, if you loved me, you would actually do this, or if you were really interested in me, you'd do that. I just can't take another thing on. It's unreasonable to expect it. Taken on too much already. You see, in partnerships. And it's like, well, am I too much? No. What they're doing is causing them to not be able to look at the partnership clearly. But if you want to add another wand to that, it's not going to go in your favour. Chiming. So with partnerships, unable to say no. Now, don't forget, partnerships isn't just romantic ones, but it's the easiest one that people want to talk about, isn't it? It's the one that they all want to say, oh, talk about my love life. So keeping it simple, but yeah, it could apply at work. Could be in the partnership, you're unable to say no to the other person. You're in a partnership and you're doing all the work. Or you feel that the other person just isn't simply capable of doing it as well as you. Or you feel that the other person does X, Y, Z, and you feel your obligations and duty bound to do your thing in the partnership. Sometimes people overcompensate for the fact that they don't feel they're giving enough value, and of course overcompensate being the right word, because they're doing it all themselves. So the area now where they are overworking or overburdening or assuming too much action and responsibility is in the area of any partnerships. And it would be any. Even if they were asking about a romantic. It's like, are you in a business? And if they are in a business, it's like, okay, you know what? It depends where it is in the spread. Let's assume it's the person having the reading. And let's say, in a partnership, they're assuming too much responsibility, taking on too much, doing it all by themselves. Or the person that they're asking about in the relationship, that person, they're assuming that person's got responsibility to them when they haven't. You've got to be able to be in a relationship that would definitely allow you the opportunity to thrive and grow. All right. Let's change that one. Okay. I'm going to use this one. Aha! So there you go. Right. So here we have the Devil card, ruled by the planet Saturn. And Saturn, as I talked about, we're talking about your moon, and you said it was Capricorn. Or anything to do with Capricorn is about the fact that it's their status, their reputation, and they're very, very much. It's not for the prestige. It's not for the glitzy glitz. People think that, and you'd be wrong. It's to do with the cause. It's to do with what their beliefs about, and it's to do with how it works out that way. And the planet Saturn, as I said, is a planet of restrictions, limitations, responsibilities, and the lessons that we have learned. And I always look at it as in Saturn is the one that teaches us some hard lessons. So that's the planet that goes with the Devil card. And of course, we've got Capricorn, and the Devil card is Capricorn, so we'll put that up for you. So any Capricorns that are having a reading, you'd be going, right, the Devil card, the end is in sight. Do you know, are you a Capricorn? Are you a Capricorn moon? Or do you know a Capricorn if somebody just asked you to pull 2 cards? That's like, right, whatever it is that you've been working towards, yeah, the end is in sight. It's been tough. We know it's been tough, A, because of the wands. We know it's been tough because Capricorn, Saturn, teaching us hard lessons, hard truths. Not that easy, yeah? So, let's have a look at what else we can put up there. And what we can do is, okay, Capricorn could be working to the point of exhaustion. Capricorn could be taking on too much. In what area of their life? Might be going with what area of their life? Let's say they've taken on too much. What area of their life? Okay, let's get rid of Capricorn for a minute and bring up the fact that it's to do with one of the key words for the Devil card, which is materialism. So really, if we look at this, although materialism, you might think that it's materialistic. It's not. It's about making sure that it happens. Making sure that it's done, that you have a product. So if your faith and belief is you want to build, a sanctuary for birds, people, a religion, a political party, whatever it is, whatever the cause is, whatever it is, you are building that for and on behalf of what you firmly believe is the right thing to do. You're not interested in the glory, you just want to make sure that it happens. And so you want it to materialize. And so if you are building something that is, shall we say, that chapel at the top of a mountain, you may have taken on too much. You may find that people don't want to climb the mountain with you, and they'll make you do it, and you've started and you're going to finish, so you're going to have to carry the whole lot up there yourself and build it yourself. You won't give up. And it might be, well, maybe you should have thought about whether people would help you beforehand, but perhaps it was so adamant and so dutiful in what you were doing that you were just unable to do anything other than just keep taking on more and more and more and more, which is sometimes what we do. And when we've got this card, it's you're unable to say no. In which area? To the very thing that is your cause. You might say no to your family, you might say no to your friends, you might say no to spending for yourself, you might say no to nurturing for yourself, but you won't say no to the cause, whatever that cause is. All right, great question. Okay, so relating to the causes, try and make that a bit bigger. Oops. Okay, if someone, let's do that again. Okay, Anne-Marie, if someone asks you to look at an area in their life and this is also affecting their partner, can you also look at their partner in the spread too? Absolutely. That's really what 9 times out of 10 most people are actually wanting you to look at someone else. So where do you look? In the position of the other person. So when I do a reading for a client, so let's just bring up a spread for a minute. Oh, there we go. Right, so we've got a spread there. All right, this is my spread. This is what you'll be learning on the advanced. I know you've done it. Certain people, so sorry, but here we go, we just go over it. So when you've got this many cards out, let's look at the fact that we know that they're a Capricorn. So straight away on the left side there, you've got the Devil card and the Page of Pentacles. So by knowing their star sign, that's where we're looking. So when in the spread, and let's say the person that's having the reading is actually a Pisces, like we see on the right. And on the top there, we've got the Pisces card, the Moon card. And of course, we've got the Minor card there showing you. That's a significator card to help you. So this is a little bit about the courses. So in answer to your question, let's say this is the reading for the Pisces, because we've got the Page of Cups there, but they're asking about a Capricorn. So we leap over to the Major Arcana card for Capricorn, and the Minor Arcana card, as in, is also, in this case, just lucky for me, I have Page of Pentacles there, because that's also Capricorn. So that's all that we could really look at. I'm not going to give too much more away than that. You'd have to do the courses. But yes, you can have one spread out. And it's going to answer that question about the other person. So as long as you know their astrological sign, so they could say, oh, can you look at my mum? She's a Taurus. Can you look at my dad? He's a Libra. Can you look at my brother? He's a Gemini. Can you look at my sister? She's a Cancerian. Can you look at my brother? He's an Aries. Can you look at my Uncle Joe? He's Pisces. And what are you? Oh, I am, who did I leave out there? Sorry, whichever it was, let's say Aquarius. I'm sure there's a couple more, so sorry about that. But let's say the person that's having the reading is an Aquarian, but they want to know all about all those people. You've got it there in front of you. And you might go, what if that card's not out? It will be out. Why? We've got 44 cards on the table. Okay, let's play the courses, and then we'll just do this one of the Wheel of Fortune, because it's a positive card next to a difficult card. A card of, not looking as if it's easy at the moment, but we know the end is in sight. So let me play this and back in a moment. Okay, sorry. I was on Jupiter, wasn't I? Where's Jupiter gone? This one, I think. Bear with me a second, Passionate Surgery. I've got it here. There it is. Sorry, my scenes. So, positive card, Wheel of Fortune, connected to the planet Jupiter, planet of expansion. Everything expands. So it's a good thing. Yeah? More work. Or is it a good thing? Because they're already taking on too much. Do you see? But it's fortunate for them because they've got a lot of work. But they may have taken on too much. But what's their reason? If they look at it as in it's just the short term, then it's not too bad, is it? Or they may be going, and I'm unable to say no. The kind of people that overwork or take on too much are usually self-employed. And the reason for that is they don't know, they don't want to say no, not because they're greedy, but they're fully aware that sometimes it's a feast or a famine, i.e. too much work or nothing. And same for businesses. Sometimes, in order to expand, they feel obliged or dutiful because they are looking for expansion in their life. Sometimes they're trying to expand but doing it all themselves. Again, I've said this before, you cannot run a chain of supermarkets and do it all yourself. You've got to be able to think about planning your strategy in order to expand. Doing it all yourself is probably not the way forwards. But if you're just a one-man band, there isn't much choice. I can understand that. And it's like, but you burn yourself out. And it's like, yeah, but that's because they're assuming responsibility. And so in certain areas of their life, they will be working hard in one particular area, and that's probably work. And so if you're seeing this coming up and going, oh, they're a workaholic, perhaps, you've got to understand that that person, if they don't work, they don't get paid. If they go away on holiday, not only do they not get paid for that holiday, but while they're away, they're turning down work, which means they're a bit worried about the fact that that person will go somewhere else and stay somewhere else. Tricky, And that is why sometimes people don't see it and people go, oh, you work for yourself, one day you'll be able to do this, that and the other. Yes, of course people do it for the end in sight, but the reality is in expansion, sometimes you can't see where you're going because you've just got to keep carrying it all yourself for the short term. Yeah? So that, I hope, explains the Wheel of Fortune and understanding your planets. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. If they're asking about love life and you go, well, how would you answer it in that? Just bear with me for a minute. Okay, expansion, another word, of course. Expansion comes from Jupiter, all right? Opportunities also come from Jupiter. So we'd be changing sort of the meaning. You wouldn't say, oh, there's expansion, the end is in sight. It doesn't make sense to say that to somebody in a relationship. What you'd look at and go, there's opportunities, the end's in sight here. This will either come to a conclusion, and this person's too busy to be in a relationship, or the opportunity's there, and that this person is actually going to go the full hog, the way forwards as much as they possibly can. Sure we can. That's another difficult one. Yep, let's do the judgment card. And then I'm going to be disappearing. I'll make this the last one. Judgment card's a tough one, isn't it? There it is. Okay, so judgment card. Planet, Pluto. Okay. Now, with the judgment card, I think people find this quite tricky, but I actually really like this card. And it's not attached to an astrological sign, it's the planet Pluto. Pluto is a bit of a difficult planet. Again, it's one of those that actually, it's like, what lessons did you learn? A bit like Saturn. But Pluto is kind of, it's about revolutionary changes and yeah, it can be tough, okay? But let's stick to the fact that, in actual fact, it can be about what lessons we've learned yet again, all right? And so, sorry, I'm just trying to find let me get the card and then I'll, what did I choose for that? Reevaluating. Okay. When I see the judgment card, I will always look at it as in, this is somebody going, do you know what, you're a long time dead. Why do I say that? I wouldn't say that to somebody in a reading unless I actually felt that they needed a real kind of wake-up call. And that's what this card is. It's a wake-up call. But you're a long time dead. Why do I say that? Look at the picture. There are figures coming out of what looks like graves. So what this is saying is, wakey, wakey, because the angel's blowing the trumpet. You need to reevaluate. And the cross on that is a crossroad. Quite simply, look at it as a crossroad. Okay, this is where you are now. You can do this or this or this. So you can stay where you are, go backwards, go left, go right, go forwards, go upwards. You know, any direction you choose. Choice is yours. But it's a kind of reevaluating. You've got to kind of go, how did I get here? And the reason for that is you're looking back over your experience. And if you are looking at the Ten of Wands, it's like, how did I get to this? What is the way forwards? Do I want this always? You are reevaluating that card of the end is in sight. Is this worth it? This is my journey. I started here. So really, the Judgment card is going back to where it all began and what was the factors that were in the process to get to where you are today. And that's depends which area of your life, you know, you're actually looking at, which part of it are you asking a question about. And so if we look at it, in actual fact, that person is asking, am I going to be all right? You know, am I on the right spiritual path? And it's like, look, the end's in sight. You're coming to a conclusion here. The work that you've done is paying off. But you really need to look at where you want to go next. The other big thing with the Judgment card out of all of the cards, and this is where I say it's like a Pluto connection, is very long term. And so the effects of this card is whatever you decide to do, you can kind of look at it as in it's the long term. So if somebody's saying, are we going to be right in the long term? I'd go straight to the Judgment card and see what cards there are. And it's like, you're both working really hard at this. It's not going to be easy, but you're both putting, it's backbreaking to make it. But you might lose sight of each other. You might lose sight of the journey you're on. You might lose sight of how you got here. It's exactly what that's saying. You know, somebody said, oh, how did you get there? They're so busy coping with the end in sight. Let me just put this down and I'll think about it. I can't think about anything apart from this heavy load that I'm carrying right here at the moment. So to ask them to reevaluate, they probably can't go back because they're going, let me just get to the end. Let me just get to the end. Why? Because, you know, that's what their focus is. They've done everything to get to this point. So if you look at, you know, the reevaluation of everything that's coming out with this person, it's all to do with success is almost there because of the Judgment card, because of what they did in the beginning, because of the choices they've got now. They could look at it and go, this is much too much like hard work. I give up. And it's like, if that's what you're going to do, and I can tell you the long-term future, you're going to get more of the same. So the Judgment card is the one that's saying, if you keep doing what you're doing, this is how it's always going to look. So that's why it's a wakey wakey. Do you want this? If you really want this, you know, this is kind of how it's going to look in 5 months, 6 months, 5 years, a decade. It's the way you can predict what's going to happen. It's like, and if you look at this and it's like, do you think we're going to make it? It's like, you're both putting everything into it. You might lose sight of each other. And the reason you're doing this, but you're both putting everything into it. Don't look at it as in a whole load of, you know, don't misread this. The end is in sight. Don't misread that and go, oh, I think it's ending. The end is in sight is the hard work. The hard work. Not the end of the relationship. You know? Endings is more like, you know, the death card, transformation, or that kind of thing. And if you keep going, it'll be worth it in the relationship. We've got to reevaluate. Do you want it to be like this? Well, we both really want to get that house that we can see in the town there. So we're going to keep going and working, back-breaking like this. And maybe we can't remember why we're doing all of this, but that's our goal. They're focused on a goal. And yeah, they may be exhausted. Do you want this forever? By buying that house, you might never be able to get off that treadmill. They've got to reevaluate. But they're saying, let me just put this down first. Am I taking on too much? We all ask that, don't we? I want it, but crikey, what am I signing up for? She really wants it, or he really wants it, so I'm not able to say no to them. You might need to reevaluate. Maybe you feel obligated or duty bound to yourself because of what you set a goal for. But you're at a crossroads. You've got that chance to reevaluate. And the angel's blowing the trumpet to wake you up and go, you're alive, How about, and again, look at the figures as if they were dead and coming back to life. So there is a bit of what would be a short-term card? Short-term is sort of the Fool. Naivety. Flippity-jippity. Good question. Yeah? This is the long-term. The Fool is kind of like, too much can actually, it's so new, it's so naive, you've got no experience. Might just dive in and dive out again. Simple as that, So your pairs, but what I would say is pick a pair for yourself. Ask a question. I know I say, what do the cards need me to know today? I don't think that's very helpful, but I do it because you're not asking me anything, so I'm trying, yeah? So something that's short-term is, yeah, think like that. So if it's short-term, look at the Fool and go, it's new, I'm not sure, yeah? Another one that I can think of is the Lovers, simply because it's sort of short journeys, but it's also, the Lovers is a card of choice. Shall I, shan't I? But the Fool is, I've tried it, I don't know. I don't care. I just wanted to have a go. I just wanted to bungee jump. I don't care if so-and-so says it's not a good idea. I'm going to do it. Oh, I did it. No thanks. Short term. I was all for it. No, I'm not. Or something, something that just says we've got no experience, we're willing to try, but we don't know if we really want to keep going with it. Judgment card is, where do you want to go? Where have you been? Do you want to stay here? Which direction do you want to go in? If you carry on doing what's in the card on the right, that's how it's looking. But it's not, it's all about obligations and duty. Well, it is, but you're signing up for action. You're signing up for work. We haven't got another suit there. So it's like this person's determined to really back-breaking stuff. If you were asking about a relationship, I'd be looking at that, and I know people wouldn't get this, but it's like they're putting everything into it. Yeah? They're giving everything. And if you looked at this and it was, let's say that person was a Capricorn, and that came up, it's like they're putting everything into this. They really are. I know people can misread that and see it as, it's a negative card. It's negative in the sense of it's hard work. You can't do any more. There you go. You cannot do any more. So I hope that makes you think, everybody. And yeah, if you miss anything, here's the podcast. So there's our Tuesday podcast where we go through 78 cards in the tarot deck, and we started off with the Major Arcana, and we worked through the suits. And guess what? We're going on to our fourth suit this week. Beg your pardon. You'll find it all on my YouTube channel. Okay. Last week you described yourself as the Judgment card. Good. Working out where you've come from, what you're doing. Yeah. To be honest, I would do that myself right now. You know, I'm very much a chariot. It's sort of about my home at the moment. And judgment card is, you know, where am I going next? Not just location-wise, but everything. You know, it's like, how do I want the next 10 years to be? That's where I'd look. You know, retirement, you know, play, fun. Retirement, not as in you're retiring from what you're doing, but you're changing gear. You're people do it as in midlife crisis when they're 30. Yeah, why? Because it's on Saturn return. Then we do it again around about 45 because it's another mini Saturn return. And we do it on a second Saturn return because we're 60. And, you know, that's because we're going, what's going to happen next now? You know, and then again, if we're lucky enough, another mini Saturn return when we're 75. So yeah, judgment card is reevaluating. What am I doing? And, you know, don't look at certain cards as being negative. It depends what the question is. It also depends on the major arcana. So if you're seeing that, you know, somebody's asking about a relationship and giving them 10 of wands, people go, oh, I really don't think they're a workaholic. Well, it depends what the other card is. Look how he looked at it. And when this person will give you everything, the judgment card and the 10 of wands, I just want to say, the person's giving you everything now, and at whatever decision you decide to do, they're going to give it their all in action. Not just a load of old flannel, yeah, I love you, I care for you. They're doing much more beyond that, okay? So, yeah. Wish you better, passionate Saji. Thank you so much for your beautiful messages. Very quiet at the moment. There has been change of clock in the UK, change of clocks. That's in for a lot of Europe, I guess. I know the USA changed. I tried to keep to 5 o'clock. I hope that's going to work for everyone. I know that you can watch the replays, the live replays, but also you've got the podcast to see what's there. My other thing that I would say to you is do not forget the courses, because you know what, if you want to turn around and make a life-changing direction, you're welcome. If you want to change direction in life, tarot is a great job. And if you know your cards or you don't know your cards, this is the place to be, because we can discuss everything and anything to help you on your journey, to help you just keep taking 1 foot further forwards than we were yesterday or the day before. You've made wonderful progress, passionate Saji. I know it's hard. It's only been, you made immense progress. And then we suddenly go, I'm a bit disappointed now because, you know what, I'm not making as much progress as I was. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. And we do think they are, but what are they doing? Are they doing what you want from it? And you know what I mean? Seeing people have lots of fans or likes or comments or this, is that paying the bills? Is that making them truly happy? Why are they doing it? You know, it might be short term. If you want to do it for the long term and you want to be able to have stability and reliability, you need to be able to say, how can I do this and stabilize myself? Okay? So it's about security, and the way in which you get your security is you need to be able to be comfortable with what you do and not be put off by things that happen, so that you feel that you are in charge of your own self-employment to do with being a tarot reader, even if you work for someone else. If you don't like it, you are at liberty to be able to feel confident enough that you could walk into another establishment or set up on your own or whatever it is you want to do. As long as you're confident, and this is just a lovely place. Oh, it takes time. As I said, honestly, it takes time. And, you know, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. And as I said, it appears that they are. But seriously, are they doing as their bread and butter and only that? That's, you know, to be able to say, just do that and you manage beautifully. You get paid well, this, that and the other. You know, why? Because you've made wise choices. It's because you've got a system, and it's because you feel comfortable, and it's because you've got the support. All right, I'm going to play you out the courses. Do have a look. The method that you see me teaching is all on intermediate. If you're interested in that, if you want to learn more about tarot, you'll see them coming up on here. I'll see you on Thursday when we start with the Ace of Pentacles. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody.